Good day, dear students. In today's class, we're going to be looking at this poem, and as you can see, the title of this poem is The Old Man and His Wife. The poet here is unknown, so we just have anonymous written here because we don't know who the poet really is. Anyway, so the poem here is about this old farmer and his wife, and one day they are arguing amongst themselves about who does more work. And the husband was very proud. He says, you know what, the amount of work you do in 3 days, that much work I do in one day. Okay, so the wife is not going to keep quiet to the situation. So she also says, if that is the case, why not let's exchange our duties. Tomorrow onwards, I will do your work and you will do my work. Okay. So it's a very funny poem about the couple and what happens when they decide to switch their roles or switch their responsibilities. So let's read into the poem and see where this goes. Okay, so it says here, there was an old man who lived in a wood, and as you may plainly see, he said, he could do as much work in a day as his wife could do in 3. All right, so all we know so far is there is this old man, and like I told you, he's a farmer. He lived in a wood, in a forest area. Okay, and if he is a farmer, he probably has a farmhouse, and he's got other and he's got other animals there as well. All right, so it says here that one day they're talking, and he says, as you may plainly see, or as it is clearly visible to everyone and as it is very obvious to everyone, he said, he could do as much work in a day as his wife could do in 3. All right, so the amount of work that he does in one day, his wife does that same amount of work in 3 days. So he's basically trying to say that he does a lot more work than she does. Okay, now understand that here it is not possible that the amount of work that he does in one day, she takes 3 days to do. It is not the literal understanding of these lines. It's a very he is exaggerating, of course, here. Okay, that he is doing the same amount of work in one day that she takes 3 days to do. Okay, so we are using here a figure of speech of hyperbole because clearly this is an exaggerated claim. Okay, so but the idea here is just that he does much more work than she does. All right, so that is what he tells her, and she says, with all my heart, the old woman said, if that you will allow, tomorrow you'll stay at home in my stead and I'll go drive the plow. So she says, with all my heart, if you're saying that, no, that you do so much work than I do, with all my heart, with your permission, tomorrow you'll stay at home in my stead. That means you'll stay back at home in my place and I'll go drive the plow and I'll go to the fields and drive the plow. Okay, the way you've been doing, I'll do your work and you will stay at home and you will do my work. Okay, so this is the deal that the husband and wife have, right? So now the husband, of course, he's not used to doing any work in the house. His job has always been outdoors, in the fields, right? So she tells him, you know what, in the house there are a couple of things that you have to do, and so she starts by listing out the different duties that he now will have to undertake. We are told, but you must milk tidy the cow for fear that she go dry. Okay, so we are told that they have a cow and you have to milk that particular cow. So, and the name of the cow is Tidy. So she says, you have to do that. That's your first responsibility. And if you don't, she will go dry. Because as you know, if you don't milk the cow regularly, then they will stop giving milk. Okay, and as if they are, a family that is into farming, they rely on milk as well. All right, so it's a very important duty that he has got to undertake. So that is the first duty. Second one, she says, and you must feed the little pigs that are within the sty. Okay, so obviously they've got other farm animals as well, and they've got little pigs that are within the sty. So a sty basically is a place where they keep the pigs. Okay, so it could be something like this. It's usually a wooden structure, and here this is another picture. Usually the door is really small because the pig has to enter through it, and if a man is entering to it, the man will have to bend and go inside and feed pigs that you have, but this is basically the sty where they shelter pigs. Okay, so this particular couple has pigs and they have a sty. So the second duty that the wife assigns to the husband is the husband will now have to feed the little pigs that are within the sty. And you must mind the speckled hen for fear she lay away. Okay, so they also have hens on the farm, and there is one particular hen which you can identify her because she has got all spots over her. Speckled means having spots. Okay, so something like this is how the hen looks with the little spots, and that particular hen is at that moment laying eggs. So the wife tells the husband, you will have to mind her, you'll have to keep watch over her because she's laying eggs. So whenever she lays eggs, you can go and collect it and it is not broken, because eggs could be very delicate, right? So you must mind the speckled hen for fear she lay away. And it is also possible that she can go too far, maybe outside the farm, and lay her eggs. Okay, so take care of her, make sure that she's around, she's somewhere close and she's somewhere safe, and the minute she lays eggs, you'll have to collect it and store it elsewhere. Okay, so that's another responsibility that the wife assigns to the husband. And lastly, she says, you must reel the spool of yarn that I spun yesterday. So she has made some thread, she has spun some thread. Yarn basically is thread. Okay, and his responsibility now for that particular day will be to reel the spool. So to reel, basically, I'll give you a picture of it. This is one example. So yarn would be the thread, it can be any kind of thread, and spool would be this cylindrical sort of a structure, and reeling it would be to take the thread and go around that spool. Okay, reeling it is basically to just put the thread around this particular spool, this white color structure that you see, which is circular and cylindrical. This is the spool, and reeling it would be to put it around, reeling the yarn would be to put it around this particular spool. Okay, so it's a simple responsibility, and of course this is not the only kind of spools that we have. There are different types. Okay, so they have a rough spool at home, and she has made some thread of some material. We are not told what material, but we are just told that there is yarn that she has made, she has spun, and he only has to reel that yarn uh, around the spool. Okay, so that is the fourth responsibility or duty that the wife assigns to the husband. Then we are told the old woman took a staff in her hand and went to drive the plow. So this is next day. They decide that, okay, we are exchanging our responsibility. So next morning she takes a staff, she takes a stick, and she goes to the fields and she goes to drive the plow. That used to be the husband's duty. And the old man took a pail in his hand and went to milk the cow. So the old man also very energetically, he goes and he starts around doing all the work in the house that his wife had explained to him the previous day. Right? So he takes a pail, takes a bucket in his hand and went to milk the cow. So the first thing he's got to do is milk Tidy the cow. But Tidy hinged and Tidy flinched and Tidy broke his nose, and Tidy gave him such a blow that the blood ran down to his toes. Now, for some reason, Tidy was not happy with the way this old man was trying to milk her. So she hinged and she flinched means she moved about. She was not comfortable in the way that he was trying to milk her. Probably his hands were not warm enough, or it was too discomforting for her. We are not told what was the reason, but Tidy was used to the old woman and the way that she was milking her. Tidy was not used to this man and the way that he was milking her. That's the reason why she moves, and she's so uncomfortable with this man that she gives him a blow. She kicks him. Okay, and she kicks him so hard that she breaks his nose, and blood starts running down to his toes. Okay, so the man starts bleeding. Again, blood cannot, I mean, it can, but it seems far, more exaggerated in this case, right? When we are told that blood ran down to his toes, he cannot bleed so much also from his nose, and which is why this is again another example of hyperbole or exaggeration. Okay, but we understand that the cow here is not happy with this man milking her, and the cow attacks his man so much so that the man starts bleeding. Okay, so he does not know the right technique of milking the cow, which his wife is very well versed with. She knows it very well by now. All right. So that's the first duty, and that is how he has fared in the first duty. And yes, of course, how does he react to it? So we are told, high tidy, ho tidy, high tidy, stand thou still. So he's trying to comfort her, he's trying to make her stand still while he milks her. Okay, but of course, she's not going to listen to any of it. And then, of course, the man is very upset. The old man is very upset. He says, if I ever milk you tidy again, it will be sore against my will. So he says, I'm never doing this again. You are so difficult to milk, and if ever I do this job again, then I will do it very bitterly, against my will. Very reluctantly, I will come and do it because you have troubled me so much, you have even hurt me when all I'm trying to do is milk you. Okay, so you can understand that his experience is very bad and he has really suffered while trying to milk the cow. And of course, he thought that this was an easy job. He thought that his wife was doing nothing at home. Okay, so this is how he is rewarded for his misconception here. Then we are told he went to feed the little pigs that ran within the sty. So the next responsibility is feeding the pigs. So he goes and he tries to feed the little pigs that ran within the sty. But he hit his head against the beam and he made the blood to fly. But he is not used to the structure of the sty. That is what it seems that could have happened here. So he was not ready, or he did not pay attention to the fact that the sty door is quite low. So he was probably in a hurry. He was rushing to give the pigs the food, and in a hurry he hits the beam. The beam would be this wooden structure right above the door. Okay, so he hits the beam because I told you this is quite low. It's not meant for humans to enter so much. The door is built or designed keeping the height of the pigs in mind, right? So you have to bend and go. So if you're not careful, or if you're not paying attention, you can hit the beam here, which is what happened with the old man, right? And he hit it so badly that he starts bleeding again, and we are told he made the blood to fly. Again, an exaggerated claim, therefore a hyperbole, right? So then we are told that so the second job he has done it successfully, but he has injured himself again. Okay, and this time it is his head, not his nose, his head. Then we are told he went to mind the speckled hen for fear she'd lay astray. So the next responsibility is the speckled hen, because she's laying eggs. So he's got to watch where she's laying eggs rather, and accordingly collect the eggs and store them. So he went to mind the speckled hen for fear that she'd lay astray, so she'd lay somewhere else far away. And he forgot the spool of yarn his wife spun yesterday. So he was so busy keeping watch over the speckled hen and making sure that he knows where she's laying the eggs, that he forgot all about the spool of yarn that his wife had spun the previous day, and which he was supposed to reel. He was supposed to take that thread and reel it around the spool. So he forgot all about it. If his wife was there, she would have done two things at the same time. She would have watched over the hen as well as reeled the spool with yarn. But this man, of course, is not used to the responsibilities, so he fails miserably at this as well. Okay, so the fourth task is left completely undone. He forgets all about it. Okay, so he swore by the sun, the moon, and the stars, and the green leaves of the tree, if his wife didn't do a day's work in her life, she should never be ruled by he. So at the end of the day, he realizes that, his wife's work may not seem like it is very difficult, but of course she does a lot of work, and it's also requires her to multitask sometimes. Unlike his job, which is only taking the plow and driving it around the field. All right. So at the end of the day, he realizes that his wife's work was a lot more difficult than his own work. Okay, and plus there were multiple tasks that needed to be completed, and yet she had never ever complained about the work that she's got to do. Okay, so he realizes that he had a very wrong understanding about the kind of work that she was doing, and that he was wrong to say that she hardly does any work and he does much more work than her. Okay, so at the end of the day, he says, he swore by the sun, the moon, and the stars. So this again is just an expression, but he's trying to say that he swore by everything that he believed in, that if his wife didn't do a day's work in her life, that means for some reason, if the wife did not do her work at home, she should never be ruled by he. uh, Rule, we are not really talking about actually ruling her, but we are talking more about say punishment. He would never punish her if she did not do her work even for a single day, because her work is very tedious, her work is very demanding and difficult. So if she chose not to do her work, on one particular day, then he would understand it. He would not punish her, he would not scold her for not doing her day's work, because her work is very difficult and challenging. Okay, so at the end of the poem we see that he has learned to respect the kind of work that she does, although it is indoor work and not outdoor work. Okay, outdoor work is challenging, no doubt, but indoor work is not as easy as it seems either. That is what he understands. Okay, and he learns, of course, to respect her as well as the work that she does indoors. And the last bit that I need to explain here, so he swore by the sun, the moon, and the stars. This is another figure of speech. This is an example of anticlimax. And what is anticlimax? Anticlimax is when we put ideas or words in descending order of importance. Okay, that means we put the word, so sun, moon, and stars, these are all sources of light if you go to see, but the sun is the biggest source of light, then we have the moon, and then we will have the stars, because the stars are the smallest sources of light here, right? So when ideas are placed in descending order of importance, here in this case by their common factor of their emission of light, this is an example of anticlimax. Okay, and climax would be if they are placed in the ascending order of importance. Okay, so if we had to put stars first and then moon and then the sun, then that would be an example of a climax. All right, so we have seen the poem and we understand that this is a very humorous poem, but it deals with a very serious question about the roles that we assign to men as well as women, and how often society, it's not just men, but society also tends to have this misconception that a man's work and a man's duty is always much more difficult, and it's always harder compared to a woman's duty. But here the poem makes it very clear to us that of course outdoor work is difficult, but indoor work is not easy either. It has its own set of challenges, and therefore both require to be respected equally. And it's not just the duties, but the doers of those duties that also need to be respected equally. No work and no person carrying out that work is greater than the other. Okay? And that is the beautiful message that this poem gives us.